Good morning, everyone. We're here in the Texas Hill Country, and I wanted to show you an innovative and neat new way I found to take care of something inside of this building. This is a pump house, and what it does is has all the materials inside to treat water that comes out of a well. The well is over there in the distance. You see the four rocks. The leftmost one is actually the wellhead, and the water comes through a line underground into the pump house. And we're going to go inside and see one of the problems that you have, at least here in the hill country, maybe in other parts of the country, when you have well water that brings up certain things from underground that you want to get rid of. Okay, folks, this is our 3,000 gallon, pretty big and holds a lot of water, our holding tank for our water system. And this is the inside of the pump house. I'm actually at the point of putting in insulation on the top, but that's what the ladder is for. But this is everything we need to treat the water. We have a pressure pump, a water conditioner. We have 2 pressure tanks. We have a UV filter system with 2 5-micron pre-filters, and we also have a salt tank to condition the water to take care of it in terms of a water softener. And what we're dealing with here is we have some crud that comes in. The main line that comes in is right there, and that water is coming from the wellhead into the tank, and you'll see that we have stuff that gets deposited of white calcium in the bottom of the tank, and that's what we're trying to deal with and clean up. And the system that I've discovered that appears to work pretty well starts with this. This is a robotic pool cleaner, and it's relatively cheap. Picked it up for about 130 some bucks on Amazon. And we're going to use this to clean this tank, and it'll do a pretty good job. So let's start. Okay, here's all the stuff that we're going to use in order to clean this tank right here. We haven't opened up the cap yet, but what we have here is a Pool Pure pool cleaner with a nice convenient handle. We've got a little head-mounted flashlight. We got a pry bar. Now, the pry bar that I have works very well for my situation. You may want to use something different. Basically, what this thing is going to do is sit right over top of the tank and allow this item here, a dog leash, extendable, retractable dog leash that comes in and out. All right. It's going to the handle of the dog leash is going to be running across the pry bar, and you want something somewhat heavy so it won't pull the pry bar in. It really doesn't have that much force, but just to be on the safe side, I use a pry bar, and it works very well. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and take the cap off and get everything positioned. Okay, before we go ahead and get everything in position, I wanted to show you what things look like down in the bottom of the tank. It's really kind of hard to see, but we'll try to put some light on it. And you can see the dark spot is pretty clean. Now, let's see if this autofocus. There we go. But the white area, that's the stuff we're trying to get up out of the tank. And it's going to take multiple passes for this pool cleaner. So be mindful of the fact that it's only going to run for an hour, hour and a half, whatever, and it will fill up with some material that I'll show you later. And you'll maybe make 3, 4, 5 passes until it's fully clean. Why does this matter? Well, if you bring somebody in to clean it, believe it or not, in this area, the cost to bring somebody in, get inside the tank, pull all the water out, get the white calcium in the bottom out, and then put 300-400 gallons back in. The cost of that nowadays is around $700 to $750. This device right here is about $137. You probably already have a dog leash. If not, I'm guessing they're about $20, and you probably already have something equivalent like a pry bar to get the job done. So it's going to save a lot of money, and it's worth it. It's really not that difficult to do this. So let's get everything set up. Okay, everything is set up and ready to go. You see the pry bar is over across the top of the tank. We've got the handle portion of the dog leash inserted into the pry bar there, and we've got the leash attached. And notice I wrapped it around, all right, and locked it in with the hasp here. So the handle of the pool cleaner is connected to the leash. Now the leash will retract and pay out as required in order to let this thing do its job. So the next thing we need to do is turn it on and insert it into the tank. So let's do that. All right, if you turn it on right here, watch. All right, there we go. It'll just blink, but it won't do anything. But, and I'll try to do this as we go. We'll go ahead and insert this. Let's hold on. It is a little difficult to get it past here because of the clearance, but you can see it's on, it's blinking, and then all we do is just let it go. And it'll slowly sink. And then you'll see it at the bottom, and it'll start to figure out where it needs to go. And give it a few seconds to start doing its thing. All right, we may need to bring it up. Oh, there we go. Got some equalizing bubbles. Now, if you do have a problem, the good news with this kind of setup is it allows you to bring this thing back up, right in midstream and get it on track and get it going. So we'll do that right now. We're going to pull it back up and see if there's some issue with the pool cleaner. Okay, not sure what the deal was, but it's up and running. You can see it down there. It's just going back and forth, and it's sweeping the floor of all the materials in there. It just has its own little path, and it figures out where to go. This particular model is not designed to climb up on walls. They do sell models that do that, but this one does not do that. And the best thing you could do at this point, if you've got everything set proper, is just let it do its thing. It's supposed to run for approximately 2 hours. Almost every manufacturer out there kind of overestimates the runtime. I would say typically what you're looking at is a minimum of an hour. If you get an hour and a half, you're lucky. So come back in an hour and a half, and then when we do that, we're going to pull it out of the water, and then you're going to see exactly what this thing does. You're going to see the stuff that it picks up on the floor of the water tank, and this is a good thing. This is going to save you a lot of money. I will note here. Let me show you here. It will run into, for example, I've got a bucket filled with concrete down below, that white thing. It will run into that, and when it does, it doesn't do anything. It just stops and then goes in a different direction, and it just keeps sweeping the floor
to get rid of all of the problems down there. So we'll come back in approximately an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we will disassemble this thing, and you will see exactly how well it does what it does. It's pretty neat. And like I say, it's going to save you a lot of money. Okay, folks, looks like we're done. One comment I want to make at this point before we pull the pool cleaner up. Why are we using a retractable dog leash? Well, it's very simple. You could theoretically put a long rope or string right here and tie it off, and then put the other end on the handle. But if you do that, when it goes from one side to the other, if it runs over the rope, it's going to get tangled up in the rope, and that probably is going to cause it to stop and jam, and you don't want to do that. So this thing works perfectly. This is actually the second time I've used it, and it has had no issue. Now let's take a peek and see where it's at on the inside. All right. So there it is. It's just parked against the wall. The last time it was actually parked against this little anchor, or I don't know what I'd call it, but a base for this float system. It's basically just going to park somewhere at the bottom and stop running. And that's how you know it's done for this session. So let's go ahead and pull it out right now. All right, so we're going to grab the rope right here. And what I'm going to do is try to pull it up without dropping my phone. Oh, one thing I forgot. This is important. Very, very important. Okay. Before you pull it up, I strongly recommend right here, you lock it. Lock it in position. Why? Well, this brown cord right here, if it goes back inside of the housing, it's going to rust out the inside. So you don't want to do that. So keep the wet part outside of the red housing and let it dry out in between each session. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it up, and I'll be right back with you. One thing I forgot to mention, and I do want to kind of stress this a little bit, when you get it out of the water, but before you pull it out of the tank, you want to kind of let it hang for a little bit so all the water that's inside of this can drain out, because it'll get kind of heavy, and just let all the water drain out before you do the next step. Okay, folks, here we are. We're outside the pump house right now. We're right next to a hose bib, and we're getting ready to clean this thing out. You can expect that each time you pull this out and do an additional cleaning, that the amount of crud that it'll pick up will get less and less as the bottom gets cleaner and cleaner. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. This particular model has a latch here. And so here we go. We pull that off, and we have another latch here. We'll pull that off, and then we're going to want to lift it up. We'll do that here in a sec. Okay, we've separated the top from the bottom. This is the underside of the top. It basically houses the motor and the electronics of it. It's a watertight seal. And this is the bottom. And this right here, surrounded, this white piece, is the filter screen. And you can see, once all that white stuff here, let's pull it out so you can see exactly what's in here. Okay, this is sitting at the bottom of the tank. It almost looks like beach sand, but it's actually calcium from the rock that is here in this area. And we're going to have to clean this out and get it ready for the next session. So what we'll do is we'll clean this, a little bit of this, we'll blow dry it. And once we blow dry it, they say wait until it's completely dry before recharging it, but I just blow dry it with an air compressor, and then we'll recharge it and have it ready to go again.
It's the system works pretty well. Like I said, this entire unit here was $130 some. I'll put the link down in the video below. I'm actually looking at possibly going with a different model, which may be better. And if I do, and if it works out better, I will post another video showing the results of that model versus this. But this was extremely cheap, easy to do way to get the tank inside that pump house fully clean. Hopefully this will work out for you. I can't say that this is going to work for all applications. For a rainwater recovery system, it may not work as well because the debris that's in there is a little bit different, but you won't know until you actually try. You may even find if you screen it out pretty well on the entry point for your rainwater system, it actually might work very well for you. So something to think about, and hopefully this will work for you. We'll catch you later. Bye.